Hello.
Hello.
Oh, no. Bring it up.
I have low morale today.
Why?
Kim, I am covered head to toe in poison ivy.
Oh, right. Again.
And I have low morale.
Okay.
And what gives me low morale, especially for this time around, is that I do really like being outside and being in my garden.
Do you?
And having plants and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I really tried to avoid poison ivy. But as my dad told me yesterday, when we were discussing, he said it's probably in the dirt. It's like in the soil, like the oil from the poison ivy. And so I just feel like, well, there's just no avoiding it.
And you're constantly rolling around in the dirt.
Well, no, but like you can't even, you think, well, if I just leaves of 3, let it be.
Right.
Right? And I'll let it be.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't see any leaves of 3.
Okay.
And I still got covered in poison ivy.
Are you certain of this science that your father has brought to you?
I'm not certain of anything. What I am certain of is that I'm covered in poison ivy.
Okay.
And that it makes me real sad and low morale.
Okay.
So you got to pick it up here.
Okay. Well, welcome to the podcast, guys. It's Confidently Controversial. This is a podcast where we talk about movies and stuff. It's movies we watched when we were children. Maybe they weren't great for us to watch, but we did it anyway because we were kind of free range kids. And here we are all these many years later, and we're going to watch them again together and see what it looks like through older, wiser, more beautiful eyes.
That's true. It's
Yes.
true. I mean, I do enjoy getting to watch a movie with you every week.
I do too.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been going on? Talk to me. Tell me stuff.
Oh, let's see. Well, it's almost mid-April and the weather is still shit. Mm-hmm. It couldn't be any colder.
No, I don't think it could.
No. It's not spring-like at all. So I don't know how you could possibly be outside in the dirt.
This was a couple weeks ago.
When there was a glimmer.
When it was like slightly warm outside and it was sunshiny. And I was like, I'm going to plant some things.
You know what? I bet you had more hope then.
I had so much more hope then. I was a different person on that day out in the world. I was a completely different person.
Well, you know what I hate is going to happen? And I'm sure you guys don't give a shit. But what's going to happen is all of a sudden it's going to be hot.
I know. I don't care. I like it hot.
I know.
Some like it hot. I'm one of those people.
You and Marilyn Monroe.
That's right. She and I have so much in common.
That's right.
Yeah.
Are you watching anything exciting or good?
No.
Oh my God, Emily, come on. You gotta bring some stuff to the pod.
I was kind of relying on you. I know you have a list of things to talk about. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I just had to lean on you with something. I finished watching the Biggins. Like the big ones, the White Lotus, the Severance. Okay, I got through that. I'm in Righteous Gemstones right now, which I do enjoy. I have to catch up with a little bit, but
we're watching Yellow Jackets, which I know that you're down upon.
I'm not down on it, but it seems a little intense for me.
It's very intense.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life.
But it's these girls are in high school and. In 1996.
Okay.
So that is around the time that we were in high school.
We were in high school, yeah.
And it's very interesting because they play music and stuff like that from the time. So it's a little nostalgic. I like it.
But it's also scary.
It's also scary. They're plane crashes on their way to a soccer tournament.
See, right there, I'm out. I'm not watching something that has to, because I assume that there's an episode where the plane crashes and they have an inside POV of that happening. Oh yes, I can't have those pictures in my head.
I got it.
And get on an airplane. And I know you like me to get on airplanes because we travel fun places together. So you should not want me to watch.
But it's only one episode, and then it's just the aftermath of them living in the woods for 18 months.
So it's Lord of the Flies.
It is
with ladies from high school.
Ladies from high school.
It's probably so much worse.
Terrible.
The psychological warfare.
It does not go well.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
So, and they have their young hot coach is there.
He's a man.
Ooh. Yeah.
18 months. Several of them, huh?
No.
He doesn't any of them.
He's gay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They wish he wasn't, though.
I mean, it's interesting because he's the only authority figure.
Okay.
But he's not that much older than them. And he does a pretty shitty job of being an authority figure. And those girls take over real fast.
I'm sure.
It's very interesting.
Okay.
In that capacity. Yeah. They're just fuck you, dude. We're not listening to you anymore.
Yeah. You're out.
Yeah. And that's pretty pretty interesting to watch, and how these girls just like make it work.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
Sounds terrifying.
It is.
Teenage girls in the woods.
Right. You don't stand a chance unless you're another teenage girl.
Even then, I didn't do well with those kind of things. And to this day, every once in a while, I'll get myself in a situation with someone that just reeks of that high school girl shit.
Right.
And I immediately am back to high school again. And I'm like, I don't know how to deal with these people.
Right.
I don't know how to do this. I'm not one of those people. I'm the person.
I'm not equipped.
I'm not equipped.
Right.
I'm just going to go off to the side, and I have one friend, and I'm going to talk to that person.
It's me.
Yeah. Which is still how I deal with it when I have to deal with people like that, is I immediately text you or call you. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I like all those posts that are just like, you have a friend that you call that's just like, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
It's like two delusional friends telling each other they're absolutely right.
We don't do that. We don't play into each other's delusions. We tell each other, we set each other straight, don't you think? Yeah,
okay.
We do. I'd be honest with we've had to burst each other's bubbles at different points in our lives.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of talk about how we're the smartest people in the world. And this podcast has proven differently multiple times.
I mean, I do listen sometimes to these episodes and
wonder how you're not running into walls constantly. We know nothing about nothing.
I know. I do fancy myself somebody who, knows a little something about something, and I hear myself talk, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I go out in the world with this mouth. Jesus.
I know. All right. Well, I get to pick the movie this week.
I'm very excited about that.
I am too, I think.
Am I going to like it?
I think so. I think you've seen it. I'm guessing you've seen it. It was a pretty big deal. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So, I feel like recently we watched a movie and you were talking about how it like intrigued you and it was something that you thought a lot about.
Was it the shrinking stuff?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
It could have been the shrinking stuff. It was the one with the Schwarzenegger.
Oh, The Running Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
How it intrigued you or something like that.
Yes, the concept of it was something that I really thought about a lot. And I liked it. Yeah.
So I feel like this movie for me is kind of like that. I thought about this movie a lot, and I don't know, maybe it was like one of the first movies where like I was old enough to like watch a thriller type movie and like be into it, because now I'm like into like those Ocean's 11 type movies where like, the plot, you have to pay attention to the plot and stuff like that.
You love those movies.
I do.
Have we ever talked about the fact that you love those movies on the podcast?
They're my comfort movies. I feel like I've noticed that like anytime they're on, I'm just like, okay, Ocean's 11. Hello, George Clooney.
They're solid movies.
They are solid movies. You could pick worse comfort movies.
Oh, 100%. And I'm sorry, but George Clooney is fucking delightful.
And they do, and so is Brad Pitt. I mean, I'm not a huge Brad Pitt person, but I love him in those movies because he's like always eating and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just like it.
That's such a funny reason for liking him in those movies. But anyway, continue.
I like it. But anyway, this has nothing to do with that.
This is a thriller that intrigued you.
That intrigued me. And I think about it still quite a bit, fairly often. I don't know why. But it came out in 1991.
Okay.
So we were like...
high school, freshman. I was like a freshman, sophomore maybe.
Okay. It's an American psychological thriller.
Okay.
And it was directed by Joseph Rubin. And it was based on a 1987 novel by Nancy Price.
Okay.
The screenplay was written by Ronald Bass. And there was a musical score by Jerry Goldsmith.
I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, I know. The film received a four Saturn Award nominations, including Best Actress. And it was also nominated for Best Horror Film.
As a Saturn Award? I don't even know what the Saturn Awards are. What are they?
Is it a car?
I don't know.
Is it about a car?
A Saturn? Yeah, Saturn's a car. Right. Or a planet. One of the two.
One of the two. I go car first.
Okay.
Box office, it didn't get the best reviews in the world, but it did okay. It did really well in the box office. It cost about $19 million to make, but it grossed about $175 million worldwide.
Love that for those people. Somebody made money. I like it.
And it was probably because of the star and the timing of it that it made so much money, because there was a lot of hype around the person who stars in this movie. It set a record for the highest domestic opening weekend for a film, with a female lead earning $13 million and surpassing the previous record held by Aliens.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a big deal movie.
Big deal movie, 1991.
Okay, I think I have a guess.
Really?
But continue.
Okay. You always guess. I never guess. You always guess. I get mad about it sometimes when I'm falling asleep.
Why? Why am I not allowed to guess?
I don't know. You're allowed to guess, but
okay,
still.
Go ahead.
The film only has a 24% rating on Rotten Tomatoes currently. The average rating is 4.6 out of 10.
Oh, God.
I know. Metacritic, it's got a 48 out of 100, indicating mixed or average reviews. Audiences loved it, though.
Really?
And the cinema score is an average grade of an A-.
Okay, can I make a guess?
Yeah.
Is it Sleeping with the Enemy?
It is. How did you guess?
Because you said it was a big star and the timing of it. And I feel like we maybe talked about this back in other Julia Roberts things, because it's like Pretty Woman was around that time.
Yeah.
And this was her follow-up to Pretty Woman, was it not?
I believe so, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember going to the movie theater to see it.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think about this a lot today, but I do recall when I went to see it, it was maybe like 2 ticks too serious of a movie that I should have been watching at the age that I was. I very much can remember the scary husband in this. And the other thing that I often thought about with this movie was her love interest neighbor.
Yeah.
Not that hot.
Oh, I loved him.
Did you?
Yes. Loved him.
No.
Oh, my God. Okay. But anyway, this is our difference. You love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love this man.
You love the weird, derpy neighbor. Okay. Well, we'll never have to fight over a guy. That's good. That's what makes it work for us.
And our husbands.
Right.
Okay. So Roger Ebert, he only gave this film 1.5 stars out of 4. He said it's a slasher movie in disguise, an upmarket version of an old exploitation formula where the victim can run, but she can't hide.
Okay.
This actually knocked Home Alone off the number 1, which was on there for 11 weeks previously.
Oh, wow. When did it come out? You said 91, early in the year then, because if Home Alone's out, that's a Christmas movie, is it not?
I feel like it was, I don't know. I don't have that information, and I apologize for that to you and to the public. We talked about the fact that it stars Julia Roberts. She was only 22 at the time that she shot this film. Originally, they wanted to offer it to Kim Basinger, who was, a big deal at the time.
Because of Batman.
Yeah, and Alec Baldwin. Right. Additionally, there was conversation around Sean Connery starring in it, and possibly Aidan Quinn. John Cusack was offered the role of Ben, my boyfriend.
Okay, I would have been better with John Cusack.
I don't know. So Patrick Bergin is the man who is the husband.
Yes, with the mustache.
Yeah, and he kind of looks like who was Phoebe Cates' husband?
Kevin Kline.
Yeah, I always thought it was Kevin Kline.
Okay, but it's not.
It's not. It's Patrick Bergin. Kevin Anderson is named Ben Woodward. That's the neighbor.
Was he ever in anything else?
He was. I looked him up recently.
You really do love him.
I did. Yeah. So this came out shortly after Pretty Woman, like we said. And it kind of set her up as like being able to do more than just romantic comedy movies. She was able to, transition into this psychological thriller. But what I thought was really interesting is something that was termed around this movie called marriage from hell thrillers. And they were very popular in the 1990s, influencing numerous similar narratives in both cinema and television.
Okay.
Marriage from Hell movies are a subgenre of thrillers or dramas that revolve around romantic or marital relationships that turn dangerously toxic.
Wow.
Often with one partner becoming abusive, manipulative, or even homicidal. This film typically follows a character, usually a woman, who tries to escape or survive a relationship that seemed perfect at first, but reveals a darker, often violent side.
Well, let's think. So this is the early 90s, late 80s probably, because you'd like, Fatal Attraction wouldn't be that because they weren't married. But
well, they listed Fatal Attraction as one of them. So common themes include gaslighting and manipulation, obsessive and possessive partners, hidden pasts or secret identities, escaping or surviving abusive relationships, and stalking or revenge after separation. So some of the movies that they listed were Sleeping with the Enemy, The Perfect Husband, Enough, which was a 2002 movie with Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
Fear,
Oh,
Mark
yeah.
Wahlberg movie. Domestic Disturbance.
I remember the name. I didn't see it, though.
Sleeping with Danger, which was a Lifetime movie.
Didn't see that one. Missed that one.
And Fatal Attraction. It's funny that they call this a 1990s theme. However, only 2 of the movies were from the 90s.
Well, I was going to say, it feels very, because that early 90s, the 80s, were very marked by a lot of divorce.
Yes.
And I know we talked about divorce being a big theme in the 80s, like in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, this fear of divorce. And I feel like that definitely was a big part of our childhood. So I wonder if that's where where this popularity came from, because you had all these people who were in, probably not this toxic of a relationship, but in some sort of bad relationship. And they're like, oh, this is the movie for me.
Well, I also think about that too, because there's a lot of taboo, especially in the 80s around divorce. Like, I feel like people would be like, oh, their parents are divorced. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like nastiness around people that were divorced, or just like side-eyeing. And it was like a big deal. And, the church thinks it's a big deal and stuff like that. So that spawned a lot of people, and you see it a lot in true crime, where somebody is in love with somebody else, and instead of getting a divorce, they kill someone. Yeah. They kill their former partner.
Because they feel like they're trapped, and that's the only way out.
Right.
Instead of just getting a divorce.
Right. Because and it's just like weird that we've made divorce worse than killing.
Right. It would be worse to do this thing.
And I guess it's just like, well, the killing would be, supposedly, you wouldn't tell people about it. I guess you'd have to tell people about the divorce.
Well, I also think that it makes you look like a better person, right? So if you're with somebody and they die or murdered, well, then you're the victim, and everyone's just like, oh, poor you.
Right.
But if you get a divorce with someone, you're not a sympathetic character. Especially a man would definitely be seen more as like, well, it's probably your fault.
Right.
So then I could see some terrible people making that jump, at like sociopaths making that jump in their head to like, well, I don't want to be the bad person, so it's better for me. I'll just kill them.
I couldn't be bad that way.
I couldn't be bad at that, but they won't find out because I'm smarter than everyone, and I'll never get caught for it.
So Randy watches this ghost show a lot called Ghost Adventures, and it has
he does.
It has this guy on it. It has a main character that's the host, I guess.
Okay.
But then
is this a fiction show, or this is an actual?
No, it's a real show. Zach Baggins is the host, but there's this guy Aaron who's like his camera guy, and they go on a ghost adventures, obviously. And
sounds like fun.
It just came out in the news that his wife tried to hire somebody to kill him. And he's getting a divorce and stuff now, but like the police went to him like while he was filming the show and was just like, hey, we just found out that there's this plot and your wife hired somebody to try to kill you.
Oh my Lord.
Can you imagine?
I would be so mad at Alex.
Yeah. Like what? Like, I'm very busy.
Like, right. Like,
I don't have time for this.
Just divorce me. Like, don't, like, I'm not doing
but
this.
then, and I know, like, and I think about it in that instance where he probably has money from the show. I mean, who knows? Whether the show is popular or not, he has more money than we do.
Right.
So,
definitely puts her in a better position.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm sure people think through all of these things. First of all, so glad that both of us are in. Right. Don't have to worry about this.
Our husbands are too lazy to kill us. I'd have to plan my own death.
Seriously. But I feel that, meanwhile, cut to my husband listening to this, like, I'm not. I could do it.
Watch me.
Please, God. But yeah, I don't know. I think that you could definitely see in some people's brains just playing out the scenarios and being like, no, it's better for me to do this because either money or I don't want to do kids. Like, I don't want to have to fight this person for my kids.
But can you imagine doing that math in your head where you're like, my child would be better off with a dead parent than a divorced parent.
It's clear that these people are mentally unstable and wrong in the brain. But this movie was definitely something that it's not that at all, really.
No.
She's escaping the bad husband.
So they say that this film was a little different than a lot of other movies like this because it refused to humanize the abuser. A lot of movies make an excuse as to why the person doing the abusing is that way.
Right.
Like, oh, they had a terrible childhood or their mother didn't love them or something like that. But the actor and the people who made the movie really rejected that idea that they would have an explanation for the abusive behavior.
Okay.
And tried to take out the fact that he would have this like tragic backstory line that made him this way. They classify his mental health condition as pervasive narcissistic disorder, which is interesting. I also think about this movie a lot, I think, because I feel like this was the first time we really saw OCD on screen. Do you remember like the cans and the towels?
Oh, he had to have everything. I mean, in full disclosure, I think that I only saw this movie once in the movie theater.
Okay.
Because I think it definitely... So I remember really wanting to see it because I, like the rest of the nation, was very into...
Julia Roberts.
Loved Julia Roberts,
Sure.
loved Pretty Woman. And I was like, yes, I want to go to movies to see...
I want to go to movies.
I want to go to movies to see more Julia Roberts.
Right.
Because she's fun. But this movie was not fun.
No.
And I remember just being like, oh. And I remember not understanding as a kid, like, well, why was she ever with this guy to begin with? Like, that was the part that I didn't I didn't see anything in this movie that made it feasible.
That he was redeeming.
That at any point there was a point in their relationship where she was like, yeah, I love him and I want to marry him and be with him. Because I couldn't understand any of that. And then she goes for the weird, ugly neighbor. So there wasn't even a thing in there where I was like, oh, there's a hot guy in this movie. There wasn't even that.
Okay. Well, there's a whole like escape, like she escapes from him and stuff like that. And I remember there's a lot of like Ocean's 11 type escaping.
Did you see or read Gone Girl?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of...
Yeah, it's similar.
Similar.
Yeah. Okay. They made a 2019 remake of this movie. Oh, actually, no, they didn't make it. It was reportedly in development in 2019. I don't know that it ever came out. But interestingly enough, due to its cult status in India, the film was remade 3 times in Bollywood.
Really?
Yes. So there's
crazy.
3 Bollywood adaptations of Sleeping with the Enemy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bollywood, I don't know if you've ever gotten into any Bollywood movies or like have seen them or anything. They've got some wild plots. Like,
no, I've never really seen too much.
Yeah.
This also, I guess this movie came up again recently too, around Blake Lively being in that movie where there's a lot of abuse.
Oh, the movie that has spawned this entire controversy?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of negativity around Blake Lively when she was doing the promotion tour for that movie because she did not speak about the abuse in the movie or kind of offer... I don't know. A lot of times when movies like this are released, it's just like, okay, well, if you need help, this is how you should get help. And, you know, talking about the actual core of the issues that are happening with the movie. And she was criticized for being very like happy-go-lucky, like goofy, aloof to the whole thing.
Yes. So I've heard. So yeah. So I even remember at the time when Julia Roberts was doing the rounds with this movie, you tend to talk about like the sympathy towards this character and your sympathy towards women who go through this thing. I feel like those are usually the talking points when you're out there promoting something like this. And the criticism with Blake Lively was that you wouldn't know that the movie she was promoting was something that dealt with this issue because it was more like rom-com-y the way she was acting.
Right. And it was like focused on what she was wearing and like the, you know, the lightness and the like effervescence of the character and stuff like that. But there wasn't really a lot of talk around the central plot of the movie being that she was kind of breaking away from this abusive husband.
I have no desire to see that movie.
I read the book. There were 2 books. It was like a 2-book series, and I'm not a fan of that author. Okay. I know a lot of people are, so I didn't really care for it, but I would watch it.
You would?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watch pretty much anything these days.
I'd watch it, but I don't have high standards.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to watch it.
No? Not interested?
No, I feel like those aren't the types of movies it takes a lot to pull me into wanting to watch a new thing. And so it's got to be cool looking or something that I feel is going to be really interesting to me. Like, I want to see that Mickey 17 movie with Robert Pattinson.
Where he's like a weirdo?
Yeah.
Huh.
I like that.
Okay. I don't. Like, I watched that movie with, that, what's her name, won an Academy Award for, red hair.
Red hair. Yeah. The actress has red. We're going to figure this out. Yeah. All right, let's do it. So the actress has red hair. She was in La La Land. Okay. Emma Thompson.
Emma, not Thompson. Stone.
Emma Stone.
Yes, there we go.
So close.
Nosed it.
the one where it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that movie too. The clothing was great.
I watched 3 seconds of it. I was like, nope, fuck this. And
you love Mark Ruffalo.
I do.
And I think you see his butt in it.
I don't care. I'm not watching it. It was too much. I was like, this is just ridiculous. I don't like it when... That, to me, feels like someone trying too hard.
Yeah, it took like 3 sittings for me to get through that movie, but I felt like I wanted to get through it.
Yeah.
I also felt it was trying too hard and it was like a little too much.
Right. Like they were trying to be purposely weird. Like I like movies that are weird without trying to be weird.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I can't think of one, but...
You're like, I have very high standards. I don't like much, but I'll watch anything.
Right. I'm an enigma.
You
what
are.
Can I say?
Well, that's why we love you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I watched a movie the other day. What was it? Oh, it was that Where the Crawdads Sing movie.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
I don't know. I read the book. The book was better.
Yeah.
It was meh. I like that girl though, Daisy Edgar Jones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what I've watched recently, and I just feel like I know there's been stuff.
Okay. Well, nobody cares about the things you can't remember. So, Sleeping with the Enemy.
You're so fucking mean.
I'm not.
Remember before I was saying the reason why we've been friends is because we do burst each other's bubbles.
Yeah.
You just witnessed it, folks.
Mm-hmm. They say that creates a stronger friendship.
We have a very strong friendship, and if that's why, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right, so Sleeping with the Enemy, you've only seen it once.
I've seen it once. I remember feeling like wanting to really love it because it was Julia Roberts, and everybody was talking about it at the time. Yeah. And it was this movie that created so much buzz.
Right,
like there's so much buzz around it. And I remember going to see it and just being like, like I do. Like you don't want to admit it to yourself when you're around that age, but I feel like there was this part of me that was just like, I think I'm too young for this movie.
Right. Yeah. I think we had this on VHS. I think this was like one of the movies that was like taped off of a tape or something like that. Now. So I think I remember it being like written in my dad's handwriting on like one of those brown VHS boxes.
So your dad watched this movie?
Oh yeah.
That's funny. I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is.
Yeah. And I don't know. I watched it quite a bit. I remember she makes a really dumb mistake, which is how she gets caught, and that makes me mad in it because she does a lot of other stuff that's like pretty intelligent to try to escape, and she like really does a good job with her plan, and then she makes a really stupid mistake that ends up getting her found out.
A fatal flaw,
which I think she wouldn't have done. So you'll tell me.
I remember that the scene that they promoted this movie with a lot, because this movie made the rounds on all the talk shows and everything else at the time. And there's a scene in this movie with the neighbor where they sing "When You're a Jet." They do like from whatever the West Side Story, and that was the thing that they showed.
Oh, okay. So he's like a theater teacher.
Yes.
And I remember that the song Brown Eyed Girl is in this movie, and I believe that was the resurgence of that song.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is just a little 90s time capsule.
Yep. So you're ready to watch it. I believe it's on Hulu for everyone who's interested.
Hulu? Okay, let's go Hulu it.
Alrighty.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's enough.
Woo! Well, thank you for making me watch that movie.
You're welcome. You hated it. You were a little mad towards the end.
It's just a little much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
First of all, let's just start out by saying, before we get into the movie, horrible situation.
Yes, fully. We're probably going to say some things that make light a little bit, but the actual situation of being in an abusive relationship that's like that level of abusiveness is not cool.
Yeah, that guy is fucked. He's psycho. So fucked.
And she is a brave lady.
Yes.
For getting out of it.
Even trying to get out of it.
Sure. So
even though she makes some mistakes.
She makes some mistakes, but, I think I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about the whole thing. But I will say, yes, I agree. And on that level, I think it is, I can see why people loved this movie because she really is escaping something terrible.
Yeah, and it is, I would have never thought of classified this as a horror movie, but it is. I mean, it's horror.
It's a thriller.
Yeah, but that's
scary.
A nightmare.
It's a nightmare situation, the whole thing. And so it did because I don't like that, and I don't like feeling scared or uncertain about something going to jump out at me, including an abusive ex-husband. And so on that level, I was non-pleased with watching this, film. Yeah. And I think that if I watched this when I was like 14 or 15 years old, I probably wouldn't have been that into it.
I feel like, too, the fact that you said you went to the movie theater. I don't remember. I never remember whether I saw movies in the movie theater, except for, like, E.T., which was my first movie. But, I can't imagine watching this in the movie theater with, your friends. You know what I mean? I know what it was like going to the movies. It was usually, 12 people. You know what I mean? And some, and often it was a date of some sort.
Or it was a group of people, but there was definitely a boy you liked.
There was a pairing up happening or something like that. So I can't imagine. Oh, I also remember seeing Showgirls in the movie theater because how could you forget?
Dear Lord.
But, yeah. So, I can't imagine, sitting. It's not like you're sitting there watching it being, taking in the cinema.
See, I think when I saw this in the movie theater, I think I went with maybe one friend.
Okay.
I can remember who the friend is. And it was like a sleepover situation. Okay. So it's kind of like we went to the movies and then it was a sleepover.
Yeah. Okay.
And I definitely felt very cool for going to see this movie. But then I feel like...
I mean, it was probably rated R.
Yeah.
Should have been.
I know.
Yeah.
I definitely shouldn't have watched it.
No.
But it did.
Yeah.
And I think those people, it probably came out at an off time. We live in a tourist area where things are busy in the summer, not so much in the other seasons. So people were probably like, yeah, kid, we'll take your money.
Yeah.
We just need someone to come to this movie theater.
Or it was a kid taking your money.
100%. The kid is probably my age.
Yeah.
But this movie was intense. Very intense.
Yes.
It doesn't let up. No. I mean, it has a couple moments of joy with the neighbor.
Yes.
But other than that, it is tense throughout.
Yes. Immediately we see that she's not in a good situation. She's picking some clams on the beach, picking them, shucking them. What do you say?
She's digging for clams.
You were like, does she feel them with her feet? Which gross.
She is, though.
That's how you do it?
That's how she was doing it. I don't know if that's how you do it.
I don't do it. I do not touch clams.
I don't know if that's the standard operating procedure for finding clams.
I don't dig on
but
slime.
she seemed to be she seemed to be feeling with her feet.
No, I don't.
And then
think
she would
so.
get in there with a little claw
trowel.
With a trowel. You seem to know a lot about clam digging. You know the name of their
tool. That's a gardening tool.
I don't know, Kim. You're sus. You live by the ocean.
I do.
I know.
I pick clams with my feet every single day.
You just throw me off the case now by acting all innocent about it.
I'm like, what's clam footing? I have no idea.
It's clam footing. Okay. Yes, so she's out. This is such a small part of the movie, but yeah, she is out there getting clams with her feet.
Clam footing.
Clam.
That's what we call it.
She's clam footing. And we see that she's on vacation. It's Cape Cod.
Yes. They live in Boston. They're on vacation in Cape Cod.
And they live in this house that looks like the coldest piece of concrete next to the ocean.
Yeah. Everything about their vacation. It looks like it's the off season, first of all. There's no one on the beach, but it's hard to say because theirs is like the only house on the beach. But then all of a sudden there's a dock in the ocean, which we're from the ocean. I've never seen a dock in the ocean.
No, it's usually
in the bay.
In the bay.
It's too rough.
Right, you're not getting in there from there.
No.
Yeah, no. You're usually off to the sides.
To the sides. Which is the bay.
Right. But I feel like it's definitely the off season. It's cold. There is
cold.
A party that she goes to. But the way that their house is situated in this, it's not just a beach house that's next to the beach. It looks like it's 2 steps from being in the water.
Yes,
so close.
Well, but it's like high up on the dunes.
It's in the dunes, which is weird, I guess.
Illegal.
It's illegal, first of all. But the house itself is very cold, very does not look warm and inviting at all. It's very harsh looking.
And you can tell that they have money.
Definitely
because
have
it's a
money.
very rich house.
But you see her husband first walking while she's clam-footing. He comes across the beach, and immediately it's like he's giving businessman. He's giving 90s Wall Street, rich, mustache, tall, dark.
He's giving Emily weird feelings. That's what he's doing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But, and you also get a sense that there's something, I mean, she's very warm to him at first.
Yeah, you can tell that she's trying to maintain this relationship that she's expected to maintain.
But if you didn't know that the movie was about what it's about, you wouldn't necessarily from the beginning, very beginning, sense that there was anything weird with their relationship until there was a moment where she hugs him and she maybe gets a little of her clam foot sand on his lapels from hugging him. And she's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I've ruined your whole thing. But even then it's not that weird. And they go out on a date and she's real smiley with him. Everything seems okay. They come back to their cold, weird,
they're
stark
like
house.
fucking across that party.
They are fucking across that party. Right.
So, right. Like
so you wouldn't sense that there's something wrong with their relationship.
Although I will say when she's doing her clam pudding, she has a bucket full of clams. And she was like, I think I was going to make this for dinner. And he's like, oh, we're going to this party. I ruined it. Can you ever forgive me? And I feel like that's a little weird.
Well, as the thing goes on, I feel like at first he seems it seems kind of normal. Mm-hmm. But and he also seems like, I don't know. It just, he starts out kind of believable as a character, but the more he speaks, the less believable. His dialogue is so stilted and written down. It sounds like he's just delivering these very, like, no one talks like that. No one talks like the way he talks. It made
me wonder, and I didn't look it up, but it made me wonder if he had some sort of accent, too. You know how, like, I don't know. I feel like the way he was talking, like, was he trying to cover up?
Oh, do you think he was, like, actually British?
Is he British? Maybe.
Is he British?
Is he a Brit?
I don't know. That makes him a little bit more appealing to me. But yes, his dialogue was very wooden and stilted. And then you kind of see things maybe aren't the way that all is not rosy in their happy little marriage.
Right, because this guy builds a dock in the ocean. The neighbor builds a dock in the ocean by their house, even though there's no other houses around, which I don't understand.
Right.
And he's docked his boat there, and Martin, the husband, goes out and talks to him, and
he's like a young, the guy's a young doctor.
He's just basically like, oh, your house is beautiful.
I saw your wife in the window.
Yeah. He doesn't say he was ever inside or anything like that. He just says it's nice from the outside.
Yeah, and he says, oh, that must be your wife I've seen looking down out of the window.
Right.
And that's it.
You live at the beach. You look out the window. You're looking at the ocean, right?
Right.
But then the husband goes back inside and is basically like,
why are you fucking the neighbor?
Yeah. When was he in here? And
he said our house is most beautiful on the beach. How does he know?
Right. And that's not what the guy said.
No, he jumped to a conclusion.
Right. And then that's the first time we see he like smacks her across the face.
She falls to the ground.
Right. Spills the flowers.
And then kicks her.
Yeah, he kicks her like right in the gut.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's very brutal. I feel like that was probably the first sign for me as a young person watching this. I was like, oh no, like this is a lot.
First time ever
seeing some lady get beat.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So then, but even still, despite the fact that he's mad about the boat he's like, well, my wife is afraid of the water. She doesn't know how to swim. I still try to get her out on a boat once a year.
Yeah.
Control.
Yes.
And the guy's like, well, I'm going out on the boat tonight. It's going to be a full moon and it's going to be beautiful. So let's go out on the boat tonight.
Right.
And he's like, I'll try.
Yeah.
And then...
even after he beats her, he still is like, we're going to go out on the boat.
Right. Because I don't think she has a choice what they do.
Oh, I don't think she has a choice either.
I mean, she's expected, he's always asking her, like, first thing in the morning, what's for dinner? And she's expected to make, like, these big, elaborate dinners. And it's clearly a very big deal for him to have a meal. And
it's also made very clear that he has to have the dish towels straight and all the labels on all the things, to which Kim was just like, I don't understand what's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. And at one point, I guess she works at a library.
Well, she said she works at a library, but I think that was her cover so she could take swimming lessons, remember?
I didn't put those two together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't watch Ocean's 11 nearly as much as you. So.
She says, I only do it 3 days a week. They want me to go full time at the library. And then when the lady calls about the swimming, she's like, we went there Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m.
Oh, so you're good.
Div Tweed is on the case.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, anyways, she's talking about it, and he is just like, well, I don't want you to work more. Dinner can't be late. And remember, there was that one time where it was late, and she's like, well, that's because my mom died.
Right, and I went away for 2 days, and he was like, well, you should have told me that your mom died, and I would have taken you. And she's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. But then they go out on the boat.
They go out on the boat, and it's rough seas.
Right, but before that, we see her. She throws rocks at the lights in front of her house to break out the lights.
Just one, right? Two.
Yes, so that we don't know why.
We don't know why. Well, we just think she's like mad. She's taking it out on the lights.
Sure.
She just got beat.
Yeah,
she's having a rough day.
Right. So she goes out on the sea. The seas started getting rough.
The sea is angry that day, my friend.
The tiny ship was tossed.
It was tossed all around, and the jib got loose.
Yes. And, man, you know what happens when that jib gets loose.
You got to get that jib.
Right.
And you got to go get it. So
Martin, get the jib.
Martin. So that's the husband starts going to get the jib, but then the other guy, the doctor, he goes to help too. So she's left by herself.
And that's when she seizes her moment.
She seizes her moment. So when Martin comes back after seizing said jib,
yes,
she's gone.
Right.
So they immediately is like, oh my God, my wife doesn't know how to swim.
Right.
The Coast Guard comes, they're searching the waters. They find the life jacket, but they don't find her.
That's correct. And boat trip over.
Yes.
Wife dead.
Yes. Everything's terrible. But then
we see
that she has jumped out of the boat and she grabbed onto the buoy. And then she swam because she had been taking swimming lessons.
That's right.
She taught herself how to swim. Now, this is where I feel like we're making a lot of errors here. Now, I get that she's like thought through to the point where I'm going to have to look for a moment. It's going to have to involve swimming. I'm like, she probably is thinking to herself, well, he takes me out on a boat at least once a year. So that's going to be my moment.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, sure. Okay. Yeah, she knows that in order to leave him, she has to be dead.
Yeah, so
she's not going to let her go through divorce or anything else.
Right, and you get the sense that she's just kind of been waiting for her moment, but she's got everything set up, ready to go at any minute that she can possibly find a moment.
Right, so they're still looking for her out to sea, and she goes back to the house, and she immediately goes and gets her go bag.
Yep.
And
she got cash in it.
She got money in it, no snacks.
A wig.
And she cuts her hair.
She does a lot. Like, I think she does this is my problem with her. She's doing too much. I feel like you need to just go. Like, get the fuck out of there. But she stops and she like takes off her wedding ring and flushes it. She cuts her hair and flushes her hair. She's walking through the house with her like wet feet from being in the ocean. She's leaving a lot of evidence behind.
Yes. There's a much greater possibility of her being found out by spending more time in the house. So
that house is big. There's an outbuilding.
Right.
There's a gardener shed
or something
that she could have
like
hid her garden bag in.
Her clam trowel.
Right. Where is go with the clam trowel.
Right. Put a bag in there.
Yeah.
And just go.
And you don't have to go in the house. You can put the wig on while you're walking.
Right. Because she only wears the wig on the bus to Iowa.
So that you feel like she probably maybe knows some people in the town where she is. So you got to get out of the town onto the bus. But then once you're on the bus,
yeah, you're free.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, and she kind of strikes up a conversation with the lady on the bus, and that's where we get the backstory on the fact that the marriage used to be good, he used to be charming, he used to be wonderful, and then on the honeymoon, things started to go bad. And obviously the abuse started in their relationship.
And she's been with him for 3.5 years.
And 6 days.
Yes. And she's, but she seized her moment and she got out of it, and now she's going to go start this new life.
Oh, right. And the lights on the beach that she busted out was to light her way so she could get back home more easily.
Right. So
when she's swimming.
Right. So since the house is right on the water, she can tell by where the darkened lights are, where to go, where to swim. Right. Yeah, it's very very good.
Plan.
I think the plan worked but then I think it was just sloppy in the execution.
Yeah.
She needed to just be. I just wish she hadn't even gone back in the house. Like, you don't need to take off your wedding ring then.
No.
Just take it with you. It's with your dead body, ostensibly. So just take it with you.
Right. Put it on a different finger. And it's not like it's like a big, rock diamond. It's a band. So you can move it to a different finger.
Right. You could go to a jeweler and say,
Plus,
hey, melt this shit down.
Yeah.
And give me the money for the gold.
Okay. So she gets to a new town.
In Iowa. Where corn is king.
Yes. And her mom is nearby. Because her mom didn't actually die.
Her mom didn't actually die, but her mom also didn't really know everything that was going on with the plan.
No. So she rents a house and she starts to build this new life.
Yes. The house is great.
Yeah, really.
For $700, that huge house fully furnished.
No, it's quite lovely. And she paints it and she's making apple pies and she's just lovely.
She gets a job. We don't know what I don't think they say what the job is.
I think she actually works at a library now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good for her. Mm-hmm. Well, he does that. And then she looks out the window and she sees her neighbor drama boy dancing. Now, I did say before, I did not think he was very cute. I still did not, in first entry of him when he's dancing around in the backyard with a thing, yes, very cute. Mm-hmm. But as the movie wore on, it was less and less into him.
I think he's very cute. I liked him very much.
There's something like a weak jaw situation happening.
Yeah, I mean, without a beard, he's probably an I'll-go. But beard,
the beard helps, the rolled up sleeves helps, the
chest
outfits.
hair sticking out of the top.
His hair is very wavy. And,
he's got that kind of chest hair that most definitely would meet the hair on his neck if he didn't do a good shave job.
Yeah.
He's a hairy beast.
He's a hairy beast. And Kim's here for it. But so she meets him pretty quick. And this is, like I said to Kim, what is the timeline here for her to get out there, to get this house, to get a job? She meets this neighbor guy and she enters, she's definitely a raw nerve.
Yeah.
But he's still, because she's fucking gorgeous. Geez, Louise.
Yeah.
Like,
if she moved in next to me, I'd be interested.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're very hot.
Right.
You're beautiful.
Would you like some apples?
Yeah, tell me your story,
right,
lady.
Let's talk.
Yeah. But he's definitely very interested in her. She's,
she's standoffish at first, but he's very kind. And I think that's the thing that gets her ultimately.
She feels safe.
Yeah, she feels safe with him. And he does push a little too hard
with some
things. But at the same time, he's like, I want to know you. I want to know you.
Well, I feel like they did a good job in this movie of feeling like you like him because when you first meet him, he's very cute and he's dancing around. But then when she first meets him and she's picking the apples and he's kind of she has the apples in her shirt or whatever, like how you do.
In her dress, yeah.
Yeah, and he's grabbing them out of there. And I definitely felt come on, dude, back off from her.
He definitely invades her space a little
He
too
does.
much.
So I feel we as the audience get why she's hey.
But also
enough.
she's standoffish because she's just I'm not here looking for a relationship. I'm trying to escape something that was pretty fucking terrible.
I'm trying to heal me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is self-love time.
Despite that, they have a connection and she starts to love that Ben and she starts to like him.
And you definitely see, so like we were saying, the house that she's in on the beach is this cold, stark kind of place. But then the home she moves into, it's warm and it's flowery.
It's
and
shabby chic.
It's shabby chic. There's so many little flower patterns happening on the wallpaper. And you just feel that she's in this little town and it's full of life and there's
parades
and kids and Shriners. It's wonderful.
Everything you could want in a town.
Everything you want. It's like Main Street USA.
Yeah.
So she's starting to relax a little bit. She does go. She wants to see her mom. So her mom doesn't know what her plan was or what was happening. Her theater boyfriend.
We find out that when she told her husband that her mom died, she was actually going to move her to a different nursing facility so that she could, this was all part of her master plan. She was going to move her mom and get her mom safe somewhere so that she could go and be near her later on.
Right.
So, so Martin starts to find out. Martin is starting to suspect because
because someone calls his office. He's fine. Like, he fully doesn't suspect anything.
Right.
But then he gets a call and they have a funeral for her. And as you pointed out, they put her tombstone, like, in the yard next to the beach house by the sea. And Kim was like, but wasn't she supposed to be afraid of the ocean? Like, what a dick move.
Yeah.
To put her tombstone there.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
And by this time, that grave would be underwater.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. High tide. One high tide.
Right. She's gone.
Done. But they don't have a body, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But he works in Wall Street. He's like a financial guy. He gets a call at his office from someone who knew his wife. And the woman is saying, like, oh, we just heard and just wanted to reach out and say, like, how wonderful she was and, whatever. And he's like, well, how did you know her? And she said, oh, I used to take swim lessons with her at the Y. And he's like, well, you must have the wrong person because my wife didn't swim.
Right. So he was like, she goes, well, she didn't swim at first, but she became a very strong swimmer by the time we were done here. We swam Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m.
Yeah. So then he's like, okay. And then he smashes the phone because this guy's got the anger issues.
But also he's like, I still don't think this is my wife. And the woman goes, she was into gymnastics. He was like, oh, no, you must be mistaken. And she was like, oh, well, that's what she told us all the bruises were. Because he was beating her and she was going to be wearing a bathing suit in the pool. So she has to tell them that she does gymnastics badly.
Yeah,
and
really
that's how
badly.
she gets so bruised up.
God. So
horrible.
So this is when he realizes and he's got his rage and he smashes the phone.
Yes.
And then
he's got his rage.
He's got his rage. He goes back to the beach house and he starts looking for clues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's like looking through a box of her stuff.
And he just starts looking everywhere through the house, and then he's in the bathroom, and he cuts his hand. Well, first he cuts himself on the glass outside.
And realizes that the lights are broken. He's like, mysterious.
But nothing. Yeah, nothing's. Yeah. But then he is in the house, and he cuts himself on something.
And goes to wash it in the toilet.
As one does. And when he does that, he sees that her wedding ring is at the bottom of the toilet. Right. And then he's like, oh.
Here we go. Right.
And is there another clue he finds there?
No, I don't think that's it.
Just the wedding ring.
Just the wedding ring.
So she goes and sees her mom. Like, it's still, like, this is the thing. It hasn't been that long.
No, but it's
as you said, the ring is still in the toilet. He obviously has not had enough. Not enough time has gone by where he has used that bathroom.
Right. No one's used that bathroom.
No. To be like, hey, there's like a ring or something.
No man has used that bathroom and peed in that toilet.
Or a woman. I don't think a man would even notice.
If they were standing and staring into it, like, a woman's just going to sit down.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway.
Take a look in the toilet before you sit on it?
I do, yes, for snakes, obviously.
Right.
Even at night.
That's what I'm saying.
Even at night when I get out of bed and go to the bathroom, like, I flip the light on to look and then turn it off.
Really? Snakes is what you're concerned about?
Snakes, yeah.
You think a snake's going to come into your toilet?
A snake.
Think a little snake's going to be in there?
Yeah.
How would they get in there?
I don't know. I don't ask them questions. I just want to make sure they're not there.
Does that happen?
What are you afraid of that's going to be in there?
Other people's poop.
But you can't sit down on top of that?
No.
Okay.
I would flush first if there was other people's poop in there or something. If someone didn't flush, I don't want that.
Okay.
I'm looking for a different kind of snake.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I'm not looking for poop.
But you think, is there a lot of documented cases of that happening?
I don't know, but I don't want one to be about me.
All right. I have a lot of questions, but it's not about this movie, so we're just going to move on from it. So he starts putting thing and thing together, realizes that the mom was moved, and then that gets a clue closer to where she might be. Yeah. He hires some private investigators to help, but they don't really come into play. It seems like he did all the work. He does
the work.
So he's trying to earn his own commission. He's one of the people who works for this guy. So he kind of quickly pretty quickly finds her.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he basically realizes that the mom got moved, and then he finds out where. I don't know how, but he finds out where. Maybe that's where the investigators...
Maybe, because he said, well, it would be within this radius because she wasn't well, so I don't think she could do more than like 2 days in the car. Right.
So they do track down the mom, and then somehow it's on the same... Like, Julia Roberts goes to visit the mom on the same day that dude's there.
Of course.
But Julia Roberts is dressed like a boy, so there's no way possibly anyone could recognize her. And then she tells her mom, she's like, look, he was really bad. I finally escaped. I'm doing good. I'm dating this guy who is a drama teacher at the college.
And mom's like, why?
Well, yeah. But then the mom's just like, okay, whatever. I'm glad you're safe. Julia Roberts leaves, and then the lady at the front desk is like, oh, wait, sir. She didn't have any visitors, but then she had one today.
And it was a little boy.
Yeah.
And she said it was a man with a little mustache.
He just left.
So he goes running out to find her, but does not find her, but goes back in and talks to the mom, who's blind. Yes. I don't know if we said that.
Yes.
She's blind, and he's talking to her, and he's pretending to be a cop, and he starts feeding her, which is weird. And then the mom gives him information and basically gives away the fact that she's calling.
At first she's trying to keep the story, but then he's like, well, we have to find her. She's in danger or something like that. We have to tell her that her husband is on the loose and close by or something.
Right. So she definitely, and how self-aware of him to know that he is a monster.
Yeah, he does know.
He does know that he is realize. Pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And the mom thinks it's okay and ends up giving up the game and saying where she is and giving information.
The guy is a drama teacher at the college, so he finds the guy.
First, he finds a different guy that he's going to kill, but it's not that guy because guess what?
He lives with a man.
Can't be that guy. No. But then he finds the guy.
Ben, yes.
Yeah, and then
they all go to the carnival.
Then Act 3 begins.
Yes.
Boom. They all go to the carnival, come back, and it is like serial killers in the house.
Oh, yeah.
And she sees, like, the towels are aligned, and she's like, oh, no. Okay, talk about the bath.
Yeah. Because So she goes on a date to the carnival with Ben, and they have this great time, and he's like, all right, well, I want to keep this date going. Basically, they've agreed upon the fact that they're going to continue the date.
Yes.
And she's like, okay, just give me 20 minutes.
I just want to freshen up.
Right. And she just goes inside, and you assume that she's going to, like, spritz her pits or something like that.
Take a poop. I said poop.
You said poop. I said clean her undercarriage.
I was like, what does that mean, freshen up?
Right. But she fully takes a bath.
Like, she's, like, not just, like, taking a quick, like, wash off in a bath.
She's sitting and pondering in the bath.
She's fully soaking.
Yes.
Yes.
She's taking a tub.
And
that's when she starts to notice that the towels are a little too neat in the bathroom.
And she goes down and that's when she's like, you're ready for something to jump out at any second. Yeah. And she goes and looks in the cabinet, and you're expecting that you're going to see all the labels on, but they're not.
But it's fine. So then she goes on the date with Ben. And then she comes back in, and she puts in a tape in the tape deck, and she's like going to go get ready for bed. She makes herself some toast, and it's the scary music.
Yes. It was Bertoli's a pasta, but something like that.
A pasta?
I think.
You could just be like, Bertoli's a pasta was the song.
Bertoli's a pasta.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, it's a scary, like, classical music song. And so she is just like, oh no. Yeah. And then she starts seeing more clues, and more of the towels are lined up. And then she looks in the cabinet, and everything is lined up. The pinto beans are perfectly aligned.
That is correct.
And she knows. And that's pretty much, she turns around and he's there. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I don't know what you thought.
Right, you'll never get away from me.
Right, like we're together forever, and he's got a gun, and he's basically like, yeah, like you're coming with me. And in the midst of this, Ben knocks on the door, and he's all cutie boy, and he does the thing where he's like, I'm going to open the door a little bit. He has a gun pointed to her head, like, you're going to get rid of this guy. Mm-hmm. Now, this is something that happens a lot in movies, and I've thought about this scenario quite a bit in my life.
Okay,
like, what would I do if I'm in danger and I have to, with my eyes, tell the person that something's wrong.
Eyes. You just go, crazy eyes.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm like, what's wrong with this person?
I'm like, oh, she's tired.
Well, but I think Julia Roberts really does, like, because she won't open the door all the way to Ben.
Yeah. I think she does a good job of portraying. Obviously, he breaks down the door.
He knows something's weird right away because she's just like, no, I'm real tired right now. And you can tell she's been crying, like her eyes.
Yeah.
And so the door closes and the guy thinks it's all fine, but then all of a sudden Ben breaks through the door.
But he's immediately down.
Yeah, he gets pistol whipped.
Yeah,
pretty quick. And then he's just a theater teacher, so he's
out.
He's limp on the ground.
Right.
And then Julia tables something. He hits her or something.
Oh, yeah.
But then the table's turned because she gets the gun. And he's just like, you wouldn't shoot me. But she shoots the ceiling. And he's like, oh, okay.
But I also like, too, like, she calls the police.
Oh, it's a power move.
It is a power move.
Oh,
and
so
she's
good.
like, she calls the police. She's like, hello, I need you to connect me to the police.
Because he says to her before that, he's like, what are you going to do? You're going to call the police now?
Right,
What are you going to do? Put a restraining order on me?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'll be back.
I'll be
Basically,
back.
I have you, and there's nothing you can do. But she's like fully looking him in the eye, and she's like, I need you to send someone to my house. I just killed an intruder. Boom.
And then she shoots him like 3 times, and he still does the thing where he comes back.
Still jumps back at her.
And points the gun at her, and then the gun just happens to not have any more bullets.
That's right.
It goes click, and then he goes. And he's got some real big eye and face acting happening during the shooting scene.
His eyes are very dark and very scary.
Yes, and he's very tall.
We know, Emily. Jesus. You're not supposed to like him.
I mean, I don't like him, but I mean, he's not bad. He's an actor.
Okay.
He's not really a mean wife beater. He might be nice. Some other things I'd like to bring. So good movie.
Yeah.
It's just not the kind of movie that I want to watch again and again.
I know.
You know,
Sure.
it's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You know,
it's scary.
It's scary. You feel it's serious. And I think that's the thing with it. It's a serious movie about a woman getting like beat and having terrible domestic violence.
Yeah.
And then she has to escape, and it's so fucking tense.
Right, because the stakes are real. It's not like a monster.
No.
It's not like a ghost or anything like that. It's real stakes because this is a real person.
Right. And I think it's very tense. I want to go back to something you had said in the beginning part of it where you felt you did not like the fact that she made a dumb mistake and that made you mad, that she left the ring. But it wasn't the ring.
What was it?
It was the woman who called, and she couldn't control that, and that was going to happen, right? Like,
yeah, but that's what sent him back to the house.
So it would have been longer.
But he would have gone back to the house,
At some
and
point.
then he would have just been like, well, she's still dead. She was lying to me about swimming, but she's still dead, right? Like, he wouldn't have found anything.
Right.
At least that time.
If no one had called and he just happened to find her ring in the toilet, do you think that he would put 2 and 2 together and be like, she faked her death?
I think if he found a ring...
I don't think he would. I think he would have been like, yeah, we did have that fight.
She was mad.
Yeah, we did have that fight
don't know.
before we went on the thing, because they go on the boat after he
Yeah, I mean,
beats
there
her.
are multiple things, like keep the lights...
Right.
And then the ring, and then the woman calling. So there are multiple things that makes him suspect for sure.
But I don't think he would have gone down that path unless the deception
Of
from
the swimming.
The deception of the swimming.
Okay.
Because I think that opened up this whole thing like, oh, I didn't know my wife. I thought I knew
Sure,
her.
sure,
She was
sure.
lying about this. I think if he had found the ring, he would have just been like, yeah, she must have been really mad at me. But I don't think he would have gone to a place of
She escaped.
she escaped, because it's still at that point in his mind, it still would have been, well, she was on the boat, she fell off the boat, she didn't know how to swim. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, you need to cut her a little slack.
Okay, I cut her slack.
For that. The other thing I want to talk about is there's a montage in the middle of this movie.
Yes.
Like I said, there's not a lot of bright spots in it. It's very...
They needed to give it something.
They need to give it something. So she goes on a date with Ben, and he's the drama person. So he takes her to the theater, when there's no one else in there. So
Right.
like she gets to be on the stage, and he makes the swing come down and the
Right.
stars, and there's a spotlight on her, and he makes it snow. So it's so magical. And then she goes backstage, and she just starts trying on all the costumes.
That's right.
And all the hats.
Yes, and that's when Brown Eyed Girl comes into it.
That's when Brown Eyed Girl... No, but it's not Brown Eyed Girl that they play during that part. They play Brown Eyed Girl earlier.
Yeah.
It's Runaround Sue.
Oh, yeah.
That they listen to at that part. Which I thought the same thing. I thought, well, wouldn't have that have been the Brown Eyed Girl part? But it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, she is all of a sudden wearing pantyhose. And that they weren't with her original outfit. So she was wearing...
She borrowed some pantyhose.
She borrowed some...
But
maybe they were
good.
his.
Oh, maybe. You would know about that.
I mean, she looked so cute during this whole part. like lovers of Julia Roberts would be like, oh, well, this is classic Julia.
Right.
This is what we love.
Yeah, the one thing I thought about, though, with that relationship, even with Ben, though, like, she's constantly having to apologize for setting boundaries in that relationship. Yes. And maybe that's because she feels compelled to, because that's what she comes from. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like in the new relationship where she's trying to escape from this abusive relationship, she should constantly be having to be like, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he should, and at the point where he realizes that something terrible has happened, he needs to give her some slack.
But even when he knows something terrible has happened, I still think he pushes a little too much.
He does. He's like, I need to know your real name.
Yeah, it's just like okay, right. Like, you're having, like, there's some stuff. Maybe you're not ready for a relationship, but I really like you. Yeah. And I'm going to be here.
Right.
And we can be friends.
And you're safe with me, and I'm right next door. And if you need anything, you just let me know. But we're going to pump the brakes a little bit.
Right. Because I want this to work. Right. And I really like you. So you take all the time you need. I'll be here. Right. And we can always have fun trying on hats.
No apologies necessary.
No apologies necessary. You want to try on a hat?
Right. You let me know.
You let me know.
I've got every hat.
I have access to so many hats. Right. You don't even understand. So
the types of hats you could try on is pretty much endless.
But I do think that in that time period in the 90s, there was no dialogue around like safety and setting boundaries. It should be that, why wouldn't she want to just date this new guy? Mm-hmm. You should just go, you were out of this bad relationship. Your next move, you have this great guy next door. He's real cute. He dances. He has access to hats. Right. Like, you should be way into it. Right. But I think now we have more of a dialogue around like, no, it's probably not a good idea to get right into another relationship.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But
overall, I mean, I think it's a really good movie. Yeah. And if you like, if you want to watch a thriller, it holds up. Mm-hmm.
And it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu, so go watch it. If you've never seen it before and you want to feel those feelings, go watch it.
I think I feel a little bit weird about it because when I think back on it, like, obviously it was terrible things were happening, but I also feel like, too, it was kind of couched in that romantic comedy genre.
Yes, because there is the montage is very romantic comedy. Right. The whole relationship with the next door neighbor. Like, if you just pluck that out of this and put it in a different movie with a different scenario, you got a rom-com.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just that rom-com is living within the world of a thriller.
Yes.
Which is kind of interesting, I guess.
It is interesting because I think that, like, being 13 or whatever we were when we watched 13, 14, you know what I mean? Like, you definitely have a different POV than looking back now where you're just like, oh, Jesus, this woman is completely fucked up. Her life is essentially impacted forever and ever by this early relationship. Like, she's never getting over this. But as a teen, you're just like, oh, move on, lady.
Move on. You got this cute guy next door. Look at his world sleeves.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it holds up. Go watch it.
Yeah.
You can watch it.
You should watch it.
You should watch it. It's a good movie. Mm-hmm. I love that Julia Roberts.
Yeah, she does good stuff.
Her hair, just to see her hair.
Oh, I know. Thank God she didn't wear that wig much longer.
Oh, she has such good hair. But I feel like in this movie, they tried to put some sort of highlights, and she has thick hair anyway, and it made her hair, like, even more thick, which, but it's still great hair. Everybody wanted that hair.
Okay. Well, would you like to hear how it connects to Kurt Russell? Because that's the time we're in with the podcast.
I would love nothing more.
Perfection.
Do it.
So, this movie connects to Kurt Russell, and it just feels wrong that it has to connect to Kurt Russell. I mean, he's so sweet and kind.
You know.
And,
he's a little rough around the edges and hot.
Okay.
He was Captain Ron, for Christ's sake.
He was. I tried to connect this to Captain Ron because I wanted to talk about Captain Ron.
The boat. He's at sea, too.
Yes. So Julia Roberts, she was in the movie Sleeping with the Enemy.
She was.
Yeah. She was in a movie in 2013 with Meryl Streep called August Osage County.
Okay. Apparently. I believe you.
Yes. And Meryl Streep was in a movie in 1983 with Kurt Russell and Cher called Silkwood.
Oh, Silkwood!
Yes, and that's an American biographical drama.
I've heard of Silkwood, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's
adult.
It seems too old for us. There was a screenplay by Nora Ephron, which is interesting because she tends to be like a romantic comedy person. But it was adapted from a book called Who Killed Karen Silkwood by Rolling Stone writer and activist Howard Cohn, which detailed the life of Karen Silkwood, a nuclear whistle-blowing and labor activist who investigated alleged wrongdoing at the plutonium plant where she worked.
I knew it was connected to nuclear stuff.
Plutonium.
To nuclear stuff.
Well, it's interesting because later on,
because a Silkwood shower is a thing.
Oh,
Have you ever heard
really?
of Silkwood shower?
No.
Like, I'm guessing because it was like you're around plutonium or like nuclear stuff that they had to really shower.
Oh.
So I've heard people refer to having to take a Silkwood shower like after you have to get like skeeve off you.
Oh, Silkwood
I've
just
never
makes me
seen
think
it.
of worms for some reason.
A silkworm.
I know.
It's a different thing.
I know, but that's what I think of. But it's interesting because Julia Roberts was also in a movie where she was, remember?
A whistleblower, Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
it's all
I know.
coming
So
together.
It's all coming
that's
together.
Great.
I know. So what should we tell the folks at home?
We should tell them to follow us on all the things. If you are just checking out this podcast because you were like, I love this movie and I want to hear two ladies talk about it. Well, we thank you and we're glad you're here. And you should go and listen to some of the other episodes where we talk about other movies that you know and love and you hear our little take on it. Follow us on all the socials and all the things. Buy some merch from our website. And also, Kim.
Yes.
If you are in an abusive relationship,
Yes.
you need to be confident.
Right.
Make a plan. Make a plan. Talk to someone you trust about it. There's a lot of great agencies out there. There is help. So be confident to go and find that help. And
call the police. And we know that the rules are probably pretty similar to what they were in the early 90s, sadly. But at the same time, you got to...
But there's great organizations, like I would say like a CARA down here. There's great organizations, and I'm sure you can find one in your community to help you. So be confident enough to go and seek out that help.
But don't be controversial
and
steal apples from your neighbor.
Never.
It just gets you in a situation where you're feeling the pressure to have a relationship, and maybe you're not ready.
You're not ready to be in a rom-com, so don't do it.
No.
All right. Well, we love you guys. Thanks for checking us out. Check you later.